Today's lesson is a problem-solving skill of interpreting remainders. After we do a division problem, how do we interpret any remainders that may exist? It can be found on page 424 of your textbook. Let's take a look at the first problem. It reads, the craft club members made 19 puppets. They want to package the puppets 5 to a box. How many boxes will they need? The question for this problem is, how many boxes will they need? And the information given was that there were a total of 19 puppets, and they need to pack them up into 5 different boxes. So for this problem then, we know that we will be doing a division. We will divide 19 puppets and split them up into 5 different boxes. 5 cannot go into 1, so I'll put a 0 to hold the place. And 5 goes into 19 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. And we will go ahead and subtract that. 9 take away 5 is 4. 1 take away 1 is 0. In this case, then, I have a remainder. You do need to take a step back and see what does this information mean. I will have 3 full boxes with 5 puppets in each, and there will be 1 box that will only have 4 puppets only. There wasn't enough to fill it out. There was a remainder of 4 puppets. So how many boxes then will I need? Well, the answer is that a total of 4 boxes will be needed. 3 boxes will be full with another box with only 4 puppets. How did we then interpret the remainder 4? We use strategy number 1, which is to use the remainder to decide on the answer. We looked at the 4 and we decided that there were still 4 puppets left over. We needed to put those puppets into a box, into a separate box. So we needed to add 3 plus 1 more box, and there was a total of 4 boxes that were needed. So we needed to look at the remainder in order to decide on the answer. It does not mean that the remainder was the answer, but we had to instead use that information and plus add it to our quotient. On our next problem then, the craft club members also made 4 picture frames. If they used 18 feet of framing material, how much material did each frame require? In this problem, the question that it's asking is, how much material did each frame require? And the information that was given to us is that all 18 feet of framing material was used in order to make 4 picture frames. We know then that we will need to divide 18 feet by 4 picture frames. And 4 goes into 1 0 times, and 4 goes into 18 4 times. So 4 times 4 is 16. And when I subtract that, I know that 8 minus 6 is 2, and 1 minus 1 is 0. The question then becomes, how will I interpret the remainder of 2? I will go back to the problem and see that all 18 feet of material was used in order to make 4 picture frames. So this remainder of 2 will also need to become a part of the answer. And as we have learned a few weeks ago, we can change this information, the quotient 4 and the remainder of 2, and turn it into a mixed number. The 4 quotient is my whole number. Each frame used a total of 4 feet, and they also used a part of it. The part is 2, that's the remainder. And the whole would be the 4 picture frames. As you can see, this can be simplified and it becomes 4 1/2. Let's go back to the question. How much material did each frame require? Well, each frame required 4.5 feet of framing material. In this example, then, we use strategy number 2. Because all of the framing material was used, we needed to use the remainder as well. So we interpreted the remainder as a fraction. In our final example, the problem says that the craft club spent $30 for the materials. The 8 members want to share the cost. Isn't that nice? How much does each person owe? The question being asked is, how much does each person owe? And the information that they gave us was that $30 was spent total, and that $30 was split between 8 people. We know then that we will need to split $30, not forgetting my decimal point, and we will split that $30 in between 8 people. Can 8 go into 3? No, it cannot. Can 8 go into 30? Yes, it can. It goes into 30 3 times. I realized that I forgot to do step number 1. And step number 1 says that I need to first and foremost is move that decimal point up to the quotient. Now that I have taken care of that, I can continue my division problem. So 3 multiplied by 8 then is 24. And I'm going to subtract. I need to regroup. So 10 take away 4 is 6. 2 minus 2 is 0. I need to remember brother and bring down that 0. And I know that 8 goes into 60 7 times. 7 times 8 is 56. And I will go ahead and subtract that. I will regroup. 10 take away 6 is 4. And 5 take away 5 is 0. I still have one more place value, so I do need to bring this down. Okay? And 8 goes into 40 now 5 times. So 5 times 8 is 40. When I subtract that, then I have 0 remainders. So let's answer the question. How much does each person owe? Each person owes $3.75. You may be asking, where is the remainder? That is an excellent question. That's actually strategy number 3, where we write the quotient as a decimal. So because the entire answer is written as a decimal, the decimal then is the remainder. But you don't write it as R, you write it instead as a decimal number. To summarize then, it is important to read the problem very carefully and see what the question is asking. Today, in interpreting remainders, we have looked at 3 strategies. The first one is to use the remainder to decide on the answer. The second strategy is to write the remainder as a fraction. And finally, the last strategy is to write the quotient as a decimal. So today you have learned ways to interpret remainders in division problems. You're going to use this skill in later chapters to solve more problems. Thanks for watching.